This is international. It's the second time I've shown to you. International Narcotics Control Board, precursors, United Nations. And there is a characterization of which the effects of everything. I told my staff to make this public, not because I want to defend myself. I told you, and it will be the rule until the end of my term, to the last day. If you destroy my country, I will kill you. No doubt about it. If you destroy the young, the youth are only assets, because generally we are really very poor. Most of 98% cannot afford to buy a coffin or even to go to the hospitals. And I'll just give you this precursors to you. There's I don't know where it is, but there's and it is only in methamphetamine that you will see that the effects are bizarre, violent, ano. So, before I left for there was this, this is the one. Where's my ilbong? Nagpagbuhat na nani. Bigyan mo sila. There's this bizarre guy who decapitated his wife. And he went out of his house shouting, "Do not worry, I have killed Duterte." Look at the description of all others seems to be okay, except that there's just an impact on the body, but it's not so frightening. But shabu, because pangita ato litrato, pangita ato mga pictures. You gave me one that was already open. Here, asunsyon ni my aide is from the army, and she's the one bringing this all the time. Cannabis. Well, cannabis is, in the effect, cannabis smoke contains 50% more tar than the high-tar cigarettes, which puts users at an increased risk of lung cancer and other respiratory diseases. Good for you. You want that, then you smoke cannabis. So with cocaine, you can find it other risks. You better read the characterization. Other risks: mixing cocaine with alcohol is dangerous, cocktail, and can greatly increase the chances of sudden death. Well, if you are the one dying suddenly, good for you and good for mankind. Ecstasy. Ecstasy, tablets or pills that are sold as ecstasy may contain other potentially dangerous substances which can vary widely in strength and effects. Do you remember now the case of those 4 guys who had a drinking spree inside Pasay City Entertainment? 4 of them suffered heart attacks. And the police told me that during the forensics, ang heart niya, tripled bumuka. Those are, as I said, this characterization. Heroin. Other risks: users risk overdosing on heroin, which can lead to coma and death through respiratory. This is very popular among Hollywood stars. But even here in the Philippines, you cannot be a legit member of the industry if you are not into drugs. I'm sorry to say this, but not all, but most of them. You know, kapayat na hindi mo maintindihan ang, I'm sure that also one. LSD, the physical effects are small compared to the psychological, emotional effects. So it's more of the mind. But look at methamphetamine. Other risks. Methamphetamine use sometimes triggers aggressive, violent, and bizarre behavior among users. Kaya pati yung mga bata, they rape infants, they rape the family, rapes the blind mother, rapes the daughter-in-law, molested the 14-year-old daughter, and stabbed to death. A 1-year-old guy. If you are the president, would you be comfortable with this, and you're confronted every day? Now, I do not know if my orders to the police and other law enforcement agencies to stop meddling in Cebu drugs, so, do not, because if they lie dead there, shot, it's always the police who gets the blame. Kuhayaan mo. Now, there was this report that the parents wanted to see me because yung the daughter who works for a bank came late one night, and maybe it's raining. The old couple could not hear the sound. That's one of the sad stories, and that what puts me to a rage. Because those are the people who cannot even defend. When you rape a baby, what am I supposed to do? Judges? There are a lot of judges on the tape. Fiscals? There's one idiot there. He's been prosecuting cases 1,000. And no conviction. And so also for the judge. I can review it. But I am warning everybody. I cannot tolerate this kind of idiotic word. Either you stop, go away, tie yourself with a rope around your neck. Do not hang yourself, but make sure that you are tied to something solid. Because if I see you doing these things, then maybe, just maybe, the criticisms will turn out to be correct.
Sir,
Yes.
going back to my questions.
Good evening, Mr. President. Considering your criticisms and issues against the European Union, did you take the opportunity to raise them with European Council President Donald Tusk on the sidelines of the ASEAN-EU summit?
I think we were with the same group when I said, whatever happened to that precious phrase, it's a Western thing, the right to be heard.
So you relayed the same message to him as that of Prime
No, I
Minister?
was the one who injected the topic. He was not at all interested. There were a lot of TV. The TV was working there. He did not. I made the intervention, and I inserted in the matter of extrajudicial killing.
Okay.
And
how,
so whatever happened, you thought about democracy. Now your heart bleeds for the criminals. And I said, I've been telling you, I've been mayor for, I'm now something like 40 years in government. I know, because I saw several times that they really fight it out. Good for America, because it's still the poppy derivatives, marijuana. But I said, remember I said, do you remember it? I just uttered it 4 months ago. And I said, it is a crisis of proportions you'd never know. Once Cebu enters into the mainstream market, you will discover to your sorrow that you have a very, very serious problem. That's with 100,000 distribute shabu among the, and you'll be horrified. Because it shrinks though. And I remember, and I'm sure you remember, that also that you saw that footage where a doctor in the company of, what's her name, Calamard. So why would I would tell her, look, shit, there is a report coming from the same body where you are. You are a rapporteur. You bring a doctor here and, start to expound about drugs. And I said, you remember, you only have one program to watch. He said that drugs does not do harm to people, to human beings. I almost fell out of the chair that I was sitting. God, here is a United Nations inhabited, working for allegedly for mankind, and you have here a list of drugs which will explain why they are criminals, and you listen to these idiots there, believing them, and you investigate me? Son of... Let me tell you, are you crazy? You better reconcile your basic principles there. If you cannot agree on something and you start to mess up, then what you get is, that's why I said to Obama, go to hell. You want to file a case? File it. Whatever court, United Nations, go. And the EU, offering us, I don't know how much this time. So the Secretary of Finance asked me if I'm willing to accept it. Give it to the persons you believe who will tell you the truth.
This was how Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described President Duterte's reaction when he raised his concerns over extrajudicial killings.
The President was receptive to my comments, and it was throughout a very cordial and positive exchange.
A cordial and positive discussion as far as Trudeau is concerned, but apparently President Duterte saw it differently.
I said, I will not explain. It is a personal and official insult. That is why you hear me throwing down epithets, curses, nagmumura, and everything. Because it angers me.
President Duterte and Prime Minister Trudeau got a chance to talk on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit. There, Trudeau said he talked about alleged EJ case in the Philippines, which he says is important to his people. Pressed on how the discussion went, President Duterte said he urged the Canadian leader to investigate if he wants to, stressing that he only explains himself to the Filipino people, not to any foreign leader. He said he also pointed out to the Prime Minister how media reports on supposed EJ case are not accompanied by details on who exactly were killed and why. The President, who's known for his foul mouth, says foreigners don't always know what's going on in the Philippines. So to those who want to question him about human rights violations, he has this message.
Lay off.
There may be some EJ case, but the President says he orders the arrest of the officials involved.
Why don't you investigate first and find out the truth? Whatever happened, why are you not giving us in government the simple rule of the right to be heard? You know, my advice to everybody, the ones that I curse publicly, is do not get your documents from the opposition and from the communists. Because I said they are all falsified.
Killings in the Duterte administration's drug war have attracted international attention. The White House says President Donald Trump also briefly touched on human rights in the overall context of the war on drugs. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque says he is unaware of any other leader who raised the issue of extrajudicial killings in the Philippines. President Duterte says it wasn't his drug war most leaders wanted to hear about. He says leaders at the summit raised a common concern, the increasing menace of terrorism, which they vowed to fight together. Ina Andulong, CNN Philippines.